Tabor. We're going to be talking about this little four-gamer, the Thursday night slate. Sheets, any luck on the early slate?
Yeah, I mean, I got some shots, I guess, with a couple of Colorado guys to min cash and stuff like that, but way too chalky for me.
Yeah.
But Coors is totally flexing his muscles in this series. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Man, I thought I was going to have it with my Dodger and Orioles game stack last night because we were at the game and boom, it was happening big time right off the bat, and then it's just sort of stopped. But it was Sheets. I got to tell you, I've been to a lot of baseball games in my life. I've never seen anything like this before, ever. There was literally everybody was lined up. People were there since 8 a.m. for the bobblehead. And there was literally, if you look online, you'll see everybody. There's 50,000 people lined up outside the stadium. We had to wait 2 hours basically to get in. We got there 2.5 hours early, and we had to wait 2 hours to get in. It was just nuts. And then, of course, Ohtani comes in the first inning and he hits a freaking home run the first inning, steals 3 more bases in the game.
The place must have just exploded. I mean,
it was insane. It was wild. It just was like people. Everyone was going nuts. It was just absolute mayhem. But it was a blast. Man, I couldn't believe that. And then they kept running out of places. So people were running and panicking, trying to find the next place that had the bobbleheads. It was just
God.
It was pretty cool, though.
Gotta be kidding me.
No, it was nuts. I mean, and now they're worth they put some special gold ones in there. So those are worth, I guess those are selling for a few $1,000 already.
I mean, it didn't seem like too long ago where the big joke was that all the Dodger fans show up after the third inning.
Oh, I know. And what's crazy? Nobody leaves early. Nobody ever leaves early anymore. It's bizarre.
It's just ridiculous.
They can't stand to miss an Ohtani at bat, but it was a great time though. Unfortunately, the home run was just a little bit in front of where we were seated because we were trying to get the home run ball.
Oh, wow.
Just a little bit in front. So it was a good time though. Which I guess carrying over into tonight's slate, we didn't get a chance to talk about it because we did a separate things separate show this morning, but I was curious what sort of was happening for you because I actually wanted to try to run a little simulation and put that on there because I was curious if we would be getting to non-5-man stacks on only a 4-game slate. I know you're going to get 5-man stacks.
I am, but not all of them. I'm leaving. More non-5-man stacks than I usually get. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I have some like 3-2-2s. I got some some really small ones, but I do have the majority of them 5-mans, but not as high of a percentage as usual.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's a weird slate to try to get different. Obviously, there's 4 gamers. It feels like the golf tournament. It's just everybody's going to have sort of some ownership. And what I sort of rounded into thinking was that I talked to myself like I like the Dodgers, but you're going to get a lot of a pretty heavy ownership I think on the Dodgers. But I like the Dodgers and as my chalky stack, but I think Philly gets a little bit lower owned than they should be today. So they would be the team that I would want to go after today. How about what are you finding on your side? Yeah,
my 2 highest owned are right now are the Dodgers and the aforementioned Baltimore Orioles. So I'll go right back to your ideal from last night, I guess. Now, I don't know if how many of them are actual game. I have quite a few of them actually are just good old game stacks there. But I'm getting to, Dodgers and Orioles to real high degree. And then my next group is Atlanta and Boston. Atlanta being next. The team that I thought I was going to get to that I'm not. Actually, I really didn't think I was going to get too much of that, but I'm getting very little Toronto. Getting very little Houston, which is obviously a little scary. Mm-hmm. And Philly, I'm just kind of with the field, I guess, like 20% or something like that.
Yeah, I'm only playing one lineup, so I didn't build a stack myself, but I guess it's a 3-2-2-1 stack, which I think you can get away with on these kind of slate. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's a 3-3-2.
Yeah, I got a couple of those.
Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense, I think. And it's Dodgers, Philly, and Boston. You do have that. I wanted to point out that Gasper kid who's been just awesome in AA. He's 2K. Yeah. I know he's not even a kid. He's not really. He wasn't like a huge prospect or anything, but he's been killing it in AA. So I think.
Yeah, I'm getting just an unfortunate amount of him. I mean,
yeah. And I like Kevin's a blow above in the chat saying you got to go after Bowden Francis after he extended himself trying to go for the no-hitter last time. I like that idea quite a bit, actually. So
what team is he on?
What's that?
What team is he on?
He's on Toronto.
So you say to take Boston? Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think that you'll get decent ownerships. I'm going to take a quick look and see what Saberson gave us. 100 builds, didn't change anything. All I did was make it 7 on the randomness, which was 8, so it wasn't much different. So 5-man stacks, they actually went for a lot more than I thought. 90 whatever percent of the 89% of the things are what am I doing? 93%. 5-man stacks, and they've got KC. I guess that's a good way to get a little bit different. Is KC, Atlanta, and Baltimore were the stacks that they gave us. And as far as pitchers go, we are looking at, let me get out of Boston. And we're looking at exposure. Where are we? Come on. All right. They've got Povich against the Dodgers as the highest owned pitcher. So kind of an interesting 5,300. Look, it's not a hell of a slate or anything like that. So I think you could take chances. I don't know that I'd want to mess around too badly with the Dodgers, going after the Dodgers, but it is one way to get different, I guess, to play the Povich at 5%. They got 50% of them here, so kind of wild. And for what it's worth, I am playing Christopher Sanchez and Bobby Miller in my one buy-in. I understand that there's something to worry about with the Orioles. I don't feel like any of these pitchers feel especially safe tonight to me. I think Morton is probably the most logical choice, but I like to go after Philly because, again, they're getting lack of ownership. And I think Hunter Brown would probably be the next most logical choice, but I'm spending down a little bit lower and going with Miller and Sanchez. Bobby Miller, for those of you guys who don't know, this guy has insane stuff. I actually think there's a chance he might be one of the best 10 pitchers in baseball by as soon as next year. He also seems to keep getting himself into trouble. He hasn't pitched up to his potential. So I personally, I don't know. I'm on the side of that. This guy, forget the numbers this season. Bet on the long term. He looked great his last time out against Tampa Bay, but everybody looks great against Tampa Bay. He's been having trouble with the long ball season long. He keeps giving up home runs, and that's really why he's struggled so much. But he's going to be a stud. He may not be there quite yet, but I'm going to bet that tonight is a reasonable enough spot. At the same time, I'm not going to fault. I feel like every game is a 4-pronger, right? When you have only 4 games, they kind of all are. You can go either way with every one of them, I think.
So who's the highest owned pitcher going to be? Probably Hunter Brown?
I think it'd be Brown, and I think Morton would probably be second, right? Let's see. Let me just grab your things. Oops. Guess Brown. Wow, it's kind of a big gap between Goldie's projections. A lot more Sanchez than I actually thought that was going to be owned tonight. Actually, a little bit more Miller than I thought would be owned as well. Povich is really the only pitcher. I almost said the only quarterback. I'm very much.
You could. Someone else can play Povich. That's not going to be for me.
And of course, the Dodger lineup comes out and no Will Smith. This is what happens I swear, every time they play a Thursday game, it's always against the lefty. Will Smith is great against lefties, and he never gets to play. So it's kind of so I'm gonna have to rebuild a little bit after we get out of here. But let me just
the Dodger lineup just came out.
That's what it came. The man is saying in the Discord in the chat. We've got Ohtani, Betts, Teoscar. Tommy Edman batting cleanup. This is not the best Dodger lineup I've ever seen. Maybe the Povich idea is not as bad as I thought.
Well, who's out? Why? Taylor's not? Is Taylor in?
No Muncy, no Freeman, no Will Smith. Taylor's batting 7th. Lux is batting 8th for some reason. I don't know why. And Barnes is batting 9th. But wow, you've got Tommy Edman and Miguel Rojas batting 4th and 5th for this is not a great Dodger lineup. I'll just say it that way. This is pretty ugly, actually. Sheets, where do you stand on the hitters versus pitchers? I think 3 games is like the doable one. 4 games might be a little bit of a stretch, but maybe you can get away with 1. Like if you're playing Bowden Francis and you wanted to play Gasper at 2K, I think you cocould do that, right? I
don't usually do it with the 4 games, so that's not me. But I'd like to brag about something, not for me, but for the both of us actually. Just because we didn't really talk about it. And it's like an incredible brag because I literally didn't play a cent of this whole slate, but we did talk about it. When we did the live sway, I remember you and I haven't spoken. When we did the live sweat the other night, we were just breezing through the next day's slate, and one of the slates that we weren't going to be around for was the 2-gamer with Paul Skeens, and you commented that what you're supposed to do, honestly, is just play all the combinations of Cubs that you can, right?
Yeah.
And that was like probably the second best take. All right. The best one though was for me, is I said, you know what, play Skeens also, because Skeens can get through 6 nicely, and then the bullpen can get lit up.
Yep, you nailed it.
So I wonder if that was the optimal, playing Skeens with all the Cubs.
I love it. I think that you got it. Actually, that's pretty wild.
But what do I know?
So. No, I mean, it is pretty funny though, because that is the way that it works on those little 2-gamers. You got to do something like that.
Anyway, I don't usually play in 4-game slates. I'm not going to play a pitcher against hitters unless it's a standout pitcher. You know what I mean? Which I don't see.
Right. Yeah, there's really nothing to feel all that great about. I don't think we need to go, spend endless amounts of time. I did the build, and I'm interested in it is interesting that they went for no Hunter Brown, basically no Sanchez, the highest owned, and they went for the Povich at the low ownership. To be honest, I don't think that's the worst idea, because the slate is so bad. Like 12 points might be good enough. I actually think if you could play Povich and play a Dodger if you wanted to. Shohei's just running every time he gets on base nowadays. So, I mean, 2 more stolen bases last night and the home run. Anyway.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to see, but I currently am biting for the chalky Hunter Brown actually.
Okay.
That's where I am right now, at least, is like all kinds of Hunter Brown. And I don't know how the Dodgers lineup is going to change that. The only thing is that I'm currently getting a lot of Dodgers in Baltimore. And if I don't get as much Dodgers, I don't know how it's going to change anything. I don't know. I'm going to rerun everything in about, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But Baltimore Dodgers is kind of almost an island game. It really is an island game. All these games are going to be done. Oh, actually, that's not true. The 8-10 game's not going to be done. But, there's no pitchers. Well, can you play pitchers there? Let me just see. Oh, yeah, there's the Povich. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're playing Hunter Brown, right, in your lineups, and you're missing out on something of those 7:00 games, then maybe swap off of Brown for Bobby Miller or something like that and do something else. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I mean, it's just throwing money away, probably, but.
I mean, that's what I always say this coming into these tiny little slates, and I swear, if there's one thing I've done all year long well is as I've consistently won on these tiny little slates. So I say, I'll mess around and do this, this, and this, and for whatever reason, on the 4-gamers, it's working. Hasn't worked so well on the 14 gamers, but the 4 gamers are okay. All right. So anything else you want to touch on tonight, Sheets?
No, not really. I don't know if you caught this, but you saw. I don't know if you heard what I did in golf. I completely went rogue, and I played like 60% Hideki. I was just not interested in this questionable tag, not interested in this back injury. It's the only way I was going to get different without being really, really just ridiculous. So once he bails out, that's fine. But until then, I have a ridiculously low owned play. So
he's not. Is he low owned?
Yeah, he's like was he 9%? Wasn't he?
Oh my God, yeah, he did end up way lower. That Q tag really got to people.
Yeah, and he actually said, I'm only 50%, and I'm focusing more on the President's Cup. You know what? These plays are self-correlating. You know what I mean? If he has a good day, he's going to keep playing. So I figured.
Absolutely. I mean, right now,
I figured I would try it. I mean, whatever.
He's currently in line to make $5 million for this tournament, which is more than he made from a win. So I don't think he's going to walk out of this one, even with a.
Yeah. So we'll just see. We'll see about that. And of course, I didn't play that much. Of course, I didn't play that much Scheffler, but that's the way that goes.
I mean, that's the thing. What's crazy is that he ended up not being owned, nearly as much as I think people, at least I was expecting. I was expecting him to be 60%, just like Xander, and everybody sort of sold themselves on Xander. I sort of like this question here from Corey.
What?
He asked about any interest in a full KC stack. I think if you're going to fully stack, that's a good way to go, because it's the lowest ownership you're going to get. I think that makes plenty of sense. I'm totally on board if you wanted to play KC and just hope that you get the bad Hunter Brown game. I like that, because they now that I look at it, they are actually going to be the lowest owned. So
it's a 4-game slate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The 4-game slate. I have no. And Hunter Brown's the chalkiest pitcher, and he's good, but not not freaking Sandy Koufax. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So Kansas City has guys. They have the best fantasy point producer in the league. It's playing. Oh no, actually, Otani's playing tonight too. But they got Bobby Witt against the righty. You know what I mean? Like, which means that if he gets on base, he could be on third. So, I got no problem with Kansas City.
Yep. No, I think it makes sense. How about Scotty though, shooting the low round of the day as if he needed to? You know what I mean?
F Scotty Scheffler for real. Like
it's irritating, man.
You know what I mean? Like last week when I need him to have like a semi-average freaking round for like $10 billion. I can't. Right. So it's ridiculous.
I know. I had him too. It's funny. I had a good week last week that I didn't really talk much about but it wasn't. I just couldn't quite get there. But it was all because I just had Scotty he was in my 444 buy-in, which I only played. I played one entry and I cashed. I was really deep in it. But if he had a good day, like you said, I think I would have come in the top 10, and that would have been nice. All right, man. Well, I guess we can kind of call it a little bit early because there's not a whole lot else to talk through. I don't think we ran a build. You guys sort of got our thoughts, but it is a 4-gamer. So get weird, get different. Everything is on the table, just like this golf tournament. And what I'm noticing is anybody who has got unique lineups, I just tracked through it. Everybody's left like 1,000 on the table.
Not me, because I played all. You know what I did? Yeah. I have an inordinate amount of Hideki and McIntyre, the 2 Q tags.
Nice.
That's what I did. So I have like zillions of unique lineups, but they're unique for a reason.
Yeah, what I tried to do was play the Bezaden Hoot with Pavone without one of Scotty or Xander.
Yeah, Bezaden Hoot's I think my second highest owned player, by the way.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. Four rounds, you get to play all the holes. So let's see what happens.
Absolutely, and then, look, anything can happen. We've seen it a million times. This is it's wild, this golf.
And you know what? Scheffler gave himself a 7-stroke lead. Let him cruise. That's fine by me.
Absolutely.
Let him play to just hold the lead for a couple of rounds. It's fine.
Yep. Why not? All right, man. Well, all right. I guess we'll take it easy tonight, guys. Good luck. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning, and good luck at the golf tomorrow. And